So one of these is just regular colors. This one. And the other one, the one I just opened, is bright colors. Well, they seem the same, but you know, the colors that I really wanted to try were the like the bright orange. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty awesome markers. Let's try the thin line. Oh, wow. That's a cool color. Kind of a aquamarine. Cool. Let's try out these green ones. I might do a little drawing, one of those. Cool, look at that color. I'm going to be coloring with these markers for like another 10 minutes, and then I'll do a little philosophizing. Maybe not even 10 minutes. Maybe I'll wrap it up here in a second. Hope everyone's doing well today. It's still summertime, people. Anything on anybody's mind? Just say so in the chat if you feel like you want me to talk about something. Oh man, there we go. Wow, look at that color. Super bright. It's coming out pretty wet. Nice and strong marker. So far my review of this brand is a favorable one. Okay. All right, we're done with the first drawing. I'll cut it out with scissors later. It's better to wait till it dries. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with these markers. They're pretty good. Usually when you get a set of markers and they're kind of like on the nicer end, they usually disappoint. But these ones didn't disappoint at all. I mean, look at those. Look at these colors, right? Look at those colors. Really bright, really wet. You can combine colors and it's not a hassle. Tombow dual brush pens. Pretty good, people. So that's my review. I'm going to give them an A letter grade. And I'm going to outline this before I cut it, but again, I want to wait till it dries. So we might as well start the show. Let's see. Rebecca's here. Hey, R. Pushing buttons 62. Welcome. Josh, welcome. Let me get caught up with the chat, people. Looks like we got a nice gathering of people here. What's the weather like, people? Raining anywhere? Nate says, things are very cool in Virginia. Not temperature-wise, but good vibes, good. Ryan is here. Welcome. The Statue of Liberty play, Ryan. Call for zero. Is Eric your son? A neon 5-pack sounds good, man. Kind of synchronistic. Are you a southpaw, R? I don't know what you mean many times, but maybe you meant many times you've used that brand of markers. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just... That's a good question. Has anyone ever confirmed whether or not Braille Bible translations have been Mandela affected? I would think so. But that's a funny... thank you, people. Thanks. The baby looks healthy. Looks great. Looks like a budding rock and roller. That reminds me when you mentioned Braille, like I think of like songs that have lyrics that were altered by the Mandela effect. And I wonder what like the original copywriting documents, what those lyrics say. One of my biggest Mandela effects people is I Love Rock and Roll by Joan Jett. And I'll make a video about that alone, just by itself, because that's a big one for me. Um, when I was a kid and that was my favorite song and I had the single and I played the hell out of it, it was always, I saw him standing there by the record machine. And in this reality, it's always been, I saw him dancing there by the record machine. Anyway, that's a big one. That's a big one. One of my top 10 for sure. Like a who done it, huh, Rebecca? I would think the Mandela effect would have an effect on blind people and deaf people, just as it does the rest of us. I say that with 70% hearing loss. No, it's not that bad. It's not 70. Great to see all of you here. Great to see all of you here. It's a good summer. Trying to stay active this summer. Yeah, they played Radar Love the other day. Um, well, let me. Some images. Comb the news, comb the desert. What are you guys talking about? was, I, was I focused on trying to share the screen and all right, you guys, let's get with the show. Let's start the show. The shoe. Um, the word for the day is currents. The word for the day is currents. Um, sometimes it seems like all around us, uh, are currents of energy, and I feel like when a person is aware of this, they could mentally sync up with the right current. You know, I see these videos on YouTube where people are going berserk. They're just going berserk, tearing things apart, tearing it up. You know, these are like real life, either like cop camera videos or security camera videos, and you see people just like just losing it, just absolutely losing it, going totally crazy. And it feels like it when you watch them, when you watch these videos, it looks like they're not even like in control of themselves. And it's almost like they tap into something that's there, like some kind of a current that makes them or gives them the green light to behave wildly. Um, it's incredible. So I've been thinking about that lately. Currents, streams of energy. Um, and I've seen a lot of orbs this summer. Changing subjects to what's going on in the skies above. Now that I'm looking at this video here, I filmed this the other day. That's a pomegranate tree. Yeah, yeah, really. I mean, that's so true. Push. It's so true. And you know, before I start talking about things that I've seen in the sky lately, I want to address this comment. Everything we were taught is utterly useless. And you're right, Push. Uh, you know what I was thinking about? Uh, how I had a friend named Ricky Townsend uh, in in fifth grade, and he was a really cool kid. And I met him the summer before fifth grade, and he lived two doors down. We had just moved to Albuquerque, and he was one of the first people we met. Him and his brother Tommy. So Ricky once pointed out, and because we were starting school together on the fifth grade together, and he pointed out this strange feeling that you guys may remember, maybe you've forgotten, but you guys remember like all those years up until like seventh grade or so, especially in elementary school. And this is the way Ricky put it. He says, on the first day of school, you feel like you're 5 years old. Like you have the strangest feeling as you're physically walking towards the school, as you're getting ready for the day, as you get onto the bus before you walk into the school. And that whole morning, it feels so strange. And I think he put it well. Like that's the way it felt. It felt like you were, let's say you're 10 years old and you're entering the first day of fifth grade. You still feel like a 5-year-old. Something feels off. And you know what I think that is, looking back? I think that's a child's psychic awareness that there's something wrong here. There's something creepy about this place. Something is off. And that's why I believe you feel kind of stripped naked. Pretty darn close to everything we were taught is utterly useless. And to think they just trapped us with our time, trapped us and took our time away from us. Yeah. Yeah. Shame on them for making children go to schools. We wasted so much time just going down these stupid rabbit holes. And that's another thing. Every year we had to reinvent ourselves, Rebecca says. It was exhausting. Sure was. Sure was. And I used to say back then in elementary school, I used to say the only thing good in school after the first grade is recess. and I wasn't even trying to make any kind of big statement or anything by saying that. I was just stating a fact. Yeah. But I've seen a couple of shooting stars recently, and you know, it almost seems like a shooting star could be the same thing that an orb is. I've seen a lot of orbs this summer. Last night I laid out and it was cloudy, and I was just laying out for 15 minutes and I saw 3 orbs and 1 shooting star. There's a lot of activity in the sky this summer. Push says he's noticed that also. Push is in Texas, East Texas. I'm in central New Mexico, neighboring states. So we see a lot of traffic in the air. But, I wonder if these orbs that we see all the time and convoys and even shooting stars, I wonder if they're connected to that strange wire in the sky that I took a picture of. And if anyone's listening and you don't know which picture I'm talking about, just look for one of my videos. It's either in the live or in the videos section on this channel. And the title of the video is One of the Strangest Things I've Ever Seen. The title of the video is One of the Strangest Things I've Ever Seen. And it's on this channel. You can check it out. And you'll see a photograph that I took in the early 90s of a wire that was, well, I call it a wire because I don't know what else to call it, but a wire stretched across over my apartments that I lived in at the time. And, this thing was 200, 300 feet in the sky. And nothing, there's no structures that high in Albuquerque. It was an unexplainably high wire. It was unexplainably straight because wires do sag. Yeah, I wonder if wires like that have something to do with the orbs that we see at night. What the hell was that I saw? At the beginning of this summer, I made a video called The 3 Biggest News Stories This Summer. And that was one of them, because I'm not the only person who's reported seeing these wires in the sky. There was some reports in the 1970s in places like Georgia and Ohio. There was one in Jersey, but I think that one was a hoax because in that one they said the wire was up for 3 weeks, and yet no one took a photograph. Now, with my wire, I took a picture of it, and it was gone the next day. So mysterious. It does indicate that there's something up there. Shooting stars do look close. Interesting, Bush. You saw them in the same spot? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that too. And Rebecca says the same thing. Nate, that wire was suspended in what looked to be exactly east to west. Exactly. Like exactly. And by the way, to the west of Albuquerque is the Petroglyph National Monument. That actually is edged up along Albuquerque's west side. So it's connected to Albuquerque. That is the where the city ends. And that was about that national park is about 8 miles from where that photo was taken. And to the east of where that photo was taken is Kirtland Air Force Base, which was about 2 miles east directly. That wire did look to be exactly east west. Well, if it was a fiber optics wire, it would have to be suspended by something. And again, there was nothing that tall in Albuquerque. And if it was a fiber optics wire, it would sag like other wires sag. This thing was straight. Interesting push, strange activity, strange airplanes activity. Hey, you guys, notice this video that's up right now? I filmed this a couple weeks ago in the Burger King parking lot while I was eating a Whopper. And if you look at this video, you'll notice that just about every car on the road is either black, white, silver, or blood red. Just look at all those cars. There's no color. Blood red is the only real color. Black, white, silver, blood red. And once in a while, you'll see a look, it's almost comical. See, but Push, when I look at these things with my binoculars, there's nothing around them except for the sky. Um, they truly seem like wandering stars. Let's see if a yellow car comes by or lime green. Prison gray. Um, and then let's see. Another thing I was thinking about is faces. Um, yeah, I've heard of that tether. Yeah, with that wire that I saw, I really regret not getting in the car and uh, taking the camera with me. Um, yeah. Well, let's see. This drawing should be dry, so I'm gonna get that outlining work done. All right. All right. Rachel, how's everything going? How's your foot? How's your health? Great to see you. Well, okay. Okay. Well, hang in there, Rachel. We're all sending you blessings. We're all sending each other blessings. Yeah, it would have been cool if I had gotten in the car that day and followed um, that wire with my camera. But in one of those 1970s reports, uh, a police officer did that, and he followed this wire, what seemed like 20 miles, and finally gave up because it just kept on going and going and going. Totally straight wire, something that should be impossible. What on earth was holding that thing up? What was it? There are some people in this community that would argue that it was something interdimensional. It wasn't part of our dimension. Well, to that I say, dimensional or not, there's something up there. There's something up there. Is it a ceiling? Is it a dome? We don't know. That's been speculated. Who knows? Who knows? Geez, Rachel, I'm sorry. But I know you're a fighter. So, so there's that. All these ailments. It seems like if the world just stopped and got mellow, these ailments that we all have would like slowly disappear. Just a thought. Um, right on, Rachel. Oh yeah, faces. Um, you look at the faces on people when you look at old photographs, especially the old black and white ones. You could see like in the 1910s and 20s and a little before that, the people looked pretty like traumatized. They really do. Photographs of people in the 1800s, the camera became kind of common, more common in 1890. It was created in the first part of the decade, but it got common in around 1890. So when you see pictures of families, Call for Zero published a video recently of families from the 1920s. And you look at those old photos, the people really do look traumatized. They do look the way a person would look if they were plucked out of their home, orphaned, and then brought to another place to make their home. You'd have the look on your face. If that happened to you, you'd have the same look on your face. They really do look traumatized. They're grim. As time moves forward into the 1930s and 40s, they're looking a bit more a bit less miserable. I'll put it that way. They you know, but these faces, they had humility on them. Now we have to be careful. I have to be careful when I talk about humility because it's tricky, you know. But you could see like an honesty, a look of integrity, a look of humility. And as it goes into the 50s, 60s, and 70s, the people just look like stronger and they look happier. They look healthier. The photographic record shows that the 1960s, 70s, 80s, little bit 90s, that was the golden age of the human race. I've said that a million times. You can tell by the art, the music, the movies, everything. That was the golden age. Nowadays, faces look sassy. They look kind of snarky. That's not me talking. Again, that's the photographic record. If you doubt what I'm saying, just look at the photographic record. Geez, Push, there's like at least a dozen videos where he was saying disparaging things about Brian Staveley. So that's interesting news, though. Thank you. And it does seem like a tipping point. So that's why we have to remember to have our fun. All right, everybody. Yeah, it does seem like a tipping point. Before I go, yeah, we might be living in some kind of an end times situation. We might see something biblical in our lifetimes. Yeah. These are crazy times. It's important to keep your mind right and keep laughing and stay cool and stay mellow. I'm going to say good night, you guys. Closing shout outs. Rachel. Keep on keeping on, Rachel. I know you will. Rebecca. Pushing buttons. Call for zero. Mental pancakes. Yeah. Nate X. It's a cozy little crowd. I feel like Josh was here also. I feel like I may have forgotten one or two or three like I always do. Sorry about that, people. Ryan was here. Right on. Okay, people, I'm going to let you go. And I'll come at you again. If not this week, I'll try next week. Thanks for joining. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk soon.